Yo, what it do, YouTube? Today's video, I'm gonna chime up with a quick impromptu video. In today's video, I want to talk about more spiritual updates, of course. You feel me? But yeah, basically, it's just like I really want to just talk about which is a spiritual update, like just the way the world is moving, because at one point in time, the world was moving so stagnant, bro. You thought that we would be stuck in like the 80s or the 90s or like early 2000s, way of thinking. But even back then, technology was so advanced, especially for people who was not, uh, let's say, like born in that time period. So, for example, if you were somebody that was born in the 60s or whatever, when you grew up, technology wasn't as advanced, but it was starting to advance slightly because around the 60s and stuff like that, that's when automotive industry and stuff became real big. They probably became big in the 50s too, but it was still big in that time period as well. So that shit crazy, bro. That shit is fucking crazy. But yeah, so like I was saying, that the automotive industry was really big around this time, and the world was progressing, but it was still moving slowly. But then once the 70s and the 80s hit, that's when like people that got a boost in consciousness. You see what I'm saying? People that got a boost in consciousness and their way of thinking had significantly progressed in the 80s, because the 80s was really like the turning point for everything. And the 80s is the beginning of the millennial era, which I didn't even know that at first until I had to go do some research. Because I always thought that the fucking millennial era started in the 90s, but no, it actually started 1981 to 1996. You see what I'm saying? I'm 1995, so I'm boom right there at the end. You see what I'm saying? Not like the very end, but the end. And some people consider 1995 and 1996, they consider that to be a part of Gen Z, but I don't think so. Cause it's already, you go look it up for yourself. You know what I'm saying? 1981, 1996. That is the millennial generation, my generation. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. So the 70s, well, really, like you could say, yeah, like the 70s, people way of thinking was changing. 70, like 75, mid 70s, that's when shit started to really get different. They hit the little disco and all that shit. And then end of the 70s, 80s, that's when everybody went into this spiritual conscious age. You know what I mean? When people started getting more interested about aliens, people started to become more aware about shit that was just going on in the world, shit that just happened 40 years ago. Because you got to remember, in the 80s, 40 years ago, I'm just saying, let's just say hypothetically, this was the 80s, 40 years ago, that was motherfucking when the Nazis and shit was reigning. 40 years ago. So a lot of this shit that was going on in the world, especially in the 80s, was coming from the Nazis. A lot of people don't even know that. A lot of that shit was still coming from the ass. That's why so many psychological operations and social experiments that took place in America, because they came from the Nazi scientists and engineers, because America needed help with these type of statistics during that Cold War era. That's why they brought the Nazis over here. They brought some of them over here, the smart ones, to help build our space program. You see what I'm saying? And yeah, man, a lot of them, bro, they played a significant role in crack cocaine. Don't let that fool you. They talking about CIA. Who you think? Who the fuck you think was over there during the war, World War II, when they let the Nazis come over here. That's the CIA and probably home, but no. Homeland Security, what it was created back then. See, hold on, let me stop right there. So no, it was it had to be CIA, but then again, the CIA wasn't even created back then. Shit, it just had to really probably just be the American government and the American military, really. And then later on, they had created these branches of the government because the CIA didn't become the CIA until like 1974, if I'm not mistaken. And the NSA, they didn't become a thing until like 1994 or something like that. So yeah, this is way, bro, like in the dark ages. You feel what I'm saying? So a lot of the shit that was happening in the 80s is still from that period of time. And still to this day, a lot of shit that happened from that Cold War era is still playing a part in this time right now. You see what I'm saying? But a lot of that shit is fading out. That's why it's called a paradigm shift, because that was the paradigm, that little Nazi reign, all the technology and all that shit. That was for that period to build up basically our new age or whatever. Well, not necessarily, yeah, basically the new age for that time period. You see what I'm saying? But if you look at like this age that we're going into now, all that shit is old. Our shit is progressing now. You see what I'm saying? So that's why this shit is different. People think differently now. You see what I'm saying? So it's a whole new era that we in, and it's a paradigm shift. You see what I'm saying? It's the information age. So, or you might be used to calling it the age of Aquarius, whatever you want to call it. It's all pretty much the same thing. You know what I'm saying? We usher in this golden age, information age, where all this shit finna come out, which it's already happening right now. And that's why you see things playing out the way it's playing out, man. That is crazy because this video wasn't supposed to be this goddamn long. But yeah, man. Yeah, this is funny as hell though. But yeah, man, this was really going on. That's why shit changing. Technology is why I said it's all-time high, because they've been running statistics and analytics on artificial intelligence and stuff like that. That's why all this artificial intelligence and stuff, they testing it out more and more, and it keeps getting better and better. Is because they've been birds just shitted on me, motherfucker. What the fuck? Hold on, man. Oh hell no. Hey man, wake the damn up. More videos coming soon.